Let us talk about God and divine intervention. God and divine intervention. Hello again, my people. Today we delve into a topic that will be unusual to many. I have chosen it because I can see what spell it will unravel and what powers this awareness will return to the people. All the people of the world are subject to these subtle mind spells, and today this one will be broken. Skywalker is here in the dark to shine light on the path for these awakened gods to come and go forth. Let us talk about God and divine intervention. Why is divine intervention purported as an external dependency? You have to depend on some outward God, most likely in the sky, to send magic which you can only surrender, bow, pray, beg, or make sacrifices to deserve, and then it might come if this God feels like. In Jamaica, when the crime rates are up, the leaders call for divine intervention. When the people are underpaid and bowed down, the leaders call up the churches to make prayer, break fast, beseeching God for divine intervention. And the leaders who should be there as definers to interpret, instruct, and organize things so they would work can now be exonerated as just human who are just as dependent as anyone else. So it takes the goodness of this human God to make man useless, powerless, subject, and unable to manifest, while accepting disagreement with useless mediocrity as just and fair. It is not just our fear for a leader to be godless, spineless, and lack divinity. It is not just unfair for a leader to not be able to manifest as gods do manifest. God gave to man that divine, which is a mind plane, so man will, by his own internal will, create and manifest and be his own God. When you project God outwards and redefine word meanings like God and divinity, what is left of the greatest God man is the useless shell of a zombie. This is what befalls humankind. Divine intervention must come by divine force. Divine force is driven by mind. Mind is all. Look at the cosmic and how the luminaries work on a planned course. How all things are perfectly planned and orchestrated. That is evidence of mind. Look at the earth and all its nature, every rightful thought that was put into it. Intelligent processes are created by intelligent minds, by thought. How the mechanics are properly laid out for the human to rise up and walk, are to communicate with each other. Everything is divine and precise planning, and we replicate that mode whenever we plan, create, and manifest in our reality with thoughtful words and deed from mind. Every calculated manifestation had thought put into it. Everything that had thought put into it manifested from mind. Mind is intelligence. Divine intervention is merely intelligence. We have wizards and diviners, or in other words, we have scientists and interpreters that explain the formulas of science or organize their uses. The word wizard simply means scientist. He seeks and finds formulas to use and make interventions for better or for worse. The word magic simply means science that is not understood by the subject. Divine intervention simply means to retrieve from universal mind space the formula that changes the situation for better or for worse. That is all it means. However, no, those that shepherd and blind you will keep you in a subject mode, preventing you from being critical or objective by handing you the dependency for definitions you are duped to believe in. Why? Because you handed over your understanding in order to trust his own, but he is shepherding you. Why do men shepherd a flock? Why do men shepherd a flock? Why do men shepherd a flock? In the answer to that, you will realize the position you have agreed to hold in this life. In the universe, all that manifests will manifest from that which was spiritual force. However, for these ideals to be reckoned upon in the first place, there has to be a mediator. Mind is mediator between realms of physical and spiritual realities. The church tells you that Jesus is the mediator between you and God. God is great spirit and you are the physical manifested reality. In this case, Jesus also represents, by allegory, the mental or mind plane. When this mind plane connects the physical with the spiritual, the divine comes forth. The God plane is summoned. God is raised to create in man by man manifested. In other words, find God within man, and man becomes the manifesting divine, creating all divine interventions we dare to desire, like from a canoe vessel to a rocket ship. When you understand reality as simple as it is, you concentrate on the innate powers given to all men. However, shepherds of men will never want it that way. They want you to agree with only accepting ready done ideas. You cannot see yourselves as godlike, but only to obey, to take the pill, whatever pill, whenever. They will use their God force, create their own will, and then prescribe a personal will to you from outside of you. The will of your heart is the will of your heart for them and not for yourself. You deny yourself and follow them. What you must think or not, they will determine. No, you must think that you are a woman and not a man. And if they tell you that your children are mutual gender now, you must accept and believe. Because of science, you don't know. You have become zombies. Why did you sacrifice your conscience to be dependent for definitions? Why did you make them take your mind with simple word spells? This is the meaning of abracadabra. God is He who manages in our reality. God is one supreme power that is greater to that degree and that manifests the necessary powers from the divine plane to that degree. Divine intervention is the use of wisdoms and formulas derived from the mind plane or the divine plane to change the human existence or to make his life better. All diviners enter the mind realm or God realm to create. Even if you meditate, you become a diviner, accessing the wisdom or the formula that will manifest in your desire or your desired achievement. The word wisdom comes from the fact that the witches and the wizards would enter the divine plane and conjure the science that we need. He was a wise one, or he had wisdom. The wizard was seen as a man of magic in the beginning. Today he is seen as the man of science. Magic is seen in a superstitious way or as the supernatural. Science is seen in a natural way as calculated formulas put in use. But the truth is that it is science alone that performs the supernatural. All these things are the same from different perspectives. Science is witchcraft for those that do not see the natural reality in it. The airplane is supernatural. You do not realize that it is a supernatural thing because you see the natural reality in its creation. The first time the man of earth saw an airplane, the first time he saw an airplane coming, well, he even say it was a rocket ship. He thought that a god had brought his city down from heaven to earth, and that his city was filled with lightning and thunderings. We know what this is all about today, don't we? So, when the crime spikes and the prime minister tells you to pray for divine intervention, tell him to call the diviners, those that understand mind science, or in the division of mind science that we call sociology. So let him call those that understand the division of mind science that we call sociology and tell him to clean up the corrupted mode he had chosen. And then within 6 months, you will begin to see the results. For all that happens in society is by deliberate fault of their leaders, either by leaders who are mere puppets doing the will of others who are doing it to destroy them, or by those that know exactly what they do but they are complicit. I can literally bet my life that in Jamaica, for example, I can easily point out the societal farms that are deliberately placed to the societal templates to drive violence and mayhem. Anyone who wants to challenge me should come forth today. I will prove that it is deliberate, and I will expose crimes against humanity that they keep on perpetrating all day because they seem to want the sacrifice of the innocent. How long have I been speaking these things? How long? Do I seem as if I fear contradictions? When there is a need for divine intervention in terms of, say, transport, let's imagine that the Jamaicans cannot afford fossil fuel cars. Call in the diviners who are science minded. Call them and tell them what to create. Fund them to do so. Within 6 months, a Jamaican youth will create a way to make the engines or motor cars run on water. If you utilize this divine intervention instead of shipping the guy away to Japan, the problem would be solved. Or maybe you deliberately sabotage the people and make them suffer to boost the pockets of wealthy oil companies. And what do you do about making the country go to solar panels instead of fossil fuel connections that make their light bills as high as their rents and sometimes even higher? It is all deliberate. Whenever leaders call for divine intervention, it is a distraction. A distraction. The masses playing numb is self-sacrificing. Self-sacrificing must stop. These leaders and their handlers have already taken more than enough energy and sacrifice. I am trying to have you open your eyes. I am not here for anything else than this. Find God internal and become man divine. The divine plane is filled with many spells for any good which to utilize. Pythagoras stole a theorem from Egypt. It was a formula or a spell. Those that could conceive the natural reality as calculated principles saw a scientific formula. They made the discovering wizard a science. Those that had no idea about how this supernatural thing happened saw the supernatural. They saw magic. They made the discovering wizard a witch. This is the difference between the scientist and the witch. I hope this is clear to you by now. So, when the people could not travel so far to work all day, someone saw the God in himself which tells him he could figure, create, and manifest. For this reason, he goes to the divine plane and saw the formulas. There, he found the formula to create a motor car. He transferred the spiritual edifice from that spiritual plane to the material world and made that thought now a physical entity, a motor car. Divine intervention. So, when you call to a God to render divine intervention, you simply call to the wise ones among us to go to God internal and be connecting to the divine, create as the God that He is. I believe this is simple and comprehensible. Yet, for strange reasons, all these things become controversial in 2024. People, if you follow this discussion to this far, then like, share, and subscribe to keep with the discussions. Plus, remember that your likes and comments do help with the algorithms. I will respond to all comments. Peace out.